All right, let's go ahead and get started. So here you can see I've got a little canvas. It's just 6x6 canvas that I'm going to be working with. I used some Gina's Designs chipboard. Here was a filigree frame that I just cut in half, and I will be using the word inspire. That comes from the phrase 1 or phrase 2 set. I can't remember which one I pulled it from. I am also going to be using some Liquitex modeling paste, and I'm going to be using some Lindy Stamp Gang Magicals. The color's called Tiffany's Blue. I believe they just changed the name on the site, so I don't think it's called Tiffany's Blue anymore. I'm going to be using the Starburst Tiffany Blue spray as well. And then I'm also going to use some Moon Shadow Mist. This is also by Lindy Stamp Gang, and the color is called Buccaneer Bay Blue. I love this color because it's got like a goldish dirty, it's just dirty, and I love it. It's grungy. I'll also be using another Starburst called Creme Brulee. And then I don't have any red Lindy's yet, but I'll be using some Glimmer Mist from Tattered Angels, and the color is called Candy Apple Red. And I'll also be using some chalkboard. It's called, I want to say it's Tomate Cerise, but I'm not sure. I'll also be using some stencils, some from Prima and maybe some from Crafter's Workshop. I'm not really too sure. I am going to be using some Sunrise Sunset paper from Prima by Finnabair, and I love this paper. And I'm also going to use just some scrap lace that I've got. I've got a little spool that's got tons of different styles of lace on it. I want to say it's from Martha Stewart, but I'm not 100% sure because I don't have the packaging anymore. I also have some washi tape that I'm going to try to use, and I'm going to use a red Faber-Castell gelato. I hope to use some chicken wire, but I decided not to use the chicken wire, but I had it just in case. It's always better to have more and not use it than to have to go fishing for something that you really want to use. So I'll be using a foam brush, a palette knife, and just, some other brushes for application. Some of them get used, some of them don't. But it's always, like I said, good to have it. Of course, gesso and some matte gel medium are always required on mixed media projects for me. So here you can see I'm going to get started, and I'm going to apologize if you hear any thunder. There's a big storm right now while I'm doing this. I'm just going to cut up and rip up some of the paper. I'm just going to layer it on. I like to have a ripped, torn look. And again, I'm inspired by Finnabair. Anna is her name. I'm inspired by how she just layers with different textures. As you can see, her paper below has got tons of texture. So just adding more and more texture on top of texture, it's actually really, really fun and really inspirational. I'll be using some Tiger Grip. It's Helmar's glue, and I believe this is actually only found in Australia, but I'm not too sure. I got it from a design team that I'm on called Tomorrow's Memory, so I just had it on hand. Here I'm going to use my matte gel medium. You can use your matte gel to layer paper down if you want. I kind of just thought, let me just use some glue really fast. And then I'm going around all my edges of the paper with the matte gel just to make sure it's laid down. I'm also going to use the matte gel on my lace to lay my lace down. Since it is fabric, you can use Fabri-Tac for this, but I wanted it to lay down really good and well. I didn't really want too many little loose ends. So here you'll just see me layering and layering and some more layering. I'm going to take some gesso, and I prime all my chipboard pieces in case I want to paint on them. Sometimes you can paint and stamp directly on chipboard without priming it, but I always like to prime it if I have no clue what I'm going to do with it in the future for the project. So here I'm just trying to make sure I get all my nooks and crannies and all my creases and crevices really good. And here, the letter or the word, the phrase, I'm doing that well too because I plan on stamping and coloring that later. So always heat set if it's still wet. I've known some people to bake their canvases. I don't do that. I'll just use my heat gun really fast. And here you can see that I'm going to take out some stamps. This is a Prima stamp, and I'm going to use it with a Crafter's Workshop stencil. This technique works a little bit, not as well as I would have liked it to. And here's the Crafter's Workshop stencil. I don't know the name of it off the top of my head. I'm not good with always remembering the names of things, especially stencils, because there's so many out there. I am going to use some Archivals ink. I'm going to lay the stencil down. My goal is to stamp the ink through the stencil so that it looks like there's just hexagon words everywhere, and that didn't work as well as I wanted it to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to gesso over it, try to clean up my mistake, and just add a little gesso everywhere, just to give an even look. And of course, always heat set. You don't want to work with anything wet in case it might mess up something else. So here I'm going to try it again. I'm going to use the bigger hexagons, and I'm going to try again. It works a little better, but still not quite. So I just gave up and said, you know what, let me stamp randomly all over. And here, after that, so sorry for the long space, I decided I wanted some more stamping. So this is a Bow Bunny stamp, and I believe it's a brick wall. I'm just stamping around all over the place, just giving all my sides a little something, you know. Some people don't do their sides of their canvas. I just added a little stamping all over the side. So here's some gesso. I'm just going to kind of do a little white dry brushing all over just to kind of blend some of that out. I don't want it to be too bright or too sticking out, I guess is the best way to say that. And I heat set once again. So this is Island Spring. It's a glimmer glaze. This actually resists any sprays, so I'm trying to create a little bit of a background for where I plan on putting my my phrase / title for my canvas. So here you can see that I'm just putting drops on, and I'm just tapping it down. And of course, remember I did do that lace, and I did do some gesso, so it's just kind of gonna make a little bit of a mess, and you got to add a little bit more to get it to work down. So once I get enough of the drippage, of course, I'm going to heat set and try it out and make sure how everything looks. And, you know, it's always good to start with a little. If you need to add more, it's great when you can go back and add more. So you'll see me adding a lot more here to go a little bit longer of the length for how big the word is. And, of course, always heat set. A little bit of heat. You don't want to overheat the glimmer glaze too much though, because it will kind of bubble up like an acrylic paint. Of course, if you don't mind that, then by all means, you know, just go ahead. Of course, I'm gessoing a little piece of cardboard. It's just from a box that I got, and I just cut it up. Sometimes those boxes come in handy for more than just moving. They add great dimension, and for my words, I like to have a little bit of dimension behind them to kind of pop them off of any page. Sometimes I think it looks just a little too flat when your title's just smack down on any kind of project, but some people make things just look amazing no matter what, dimension or no dimension. So here I'm just going to go ahead and play, and I grabbed my red gelato. I'm just adding red everywhere and using my fingers to smush it out. So while smushing out, you can use a baby wipe to do that. Any extra water, of course, is going to make it blend out even more. And now I'm going to take my Lindy Stamping Magicals. I'm going to mix it with some modeling paste. I'm not going to show you the mixing process because it took me a little bit to play around, so I got the color I wanted. And it's still a little too bright for my liking, but it actually turned out great for the project. So here I'm using that Crafters Workshop stencil, and I'm just using the paste that I created up and adding that paste all over my canvas where I think it would look good at. So once I got all that cleaned up, I did heat set. Modeling paste dry is pretty fast, so you don't have to wait too long before you can keep going. So here is Finnabair stencil that she came out with that goes with the Sunrise Sunset collection. And I'm just going to take some black distress ink, and I'm going to try and work this in. This is where I make a mistake. So sorry for fiddling with the camera. I rub it in. But what do we all know about distress inks? They are water soluble, so that means any liquid gets on them, they run. I completely forgot this, and I should have waited to do this particular step because my little flowers end up gone. And I actually have to go back through and do this all over again. And I was kind of not happy with myself for not remembering it, but it's okay. So here is where I spray. I'm using that Tattered Angels chalkboard color for my red, just to add a little bit more red. And when I sprayed it, this is where I remembered that you shouldn't, as you can see, the blue or the black is already starting to be gone. Here I'm just adding a little bit more of that Lindy's Tiffany blue, just to add more color to my canvas because I thought it was a little too white still. Not very 4th of July-ish / summery. With Lindy's, you always want a heat set between your sprays. So here's that Buccaneer Bay blue. And I love, you can kind of see how grungy it looks. I love this color. This is probably one of my favorite colors, besides the Bayou Boogie Gold. I'm going to take some more stamping. And this again is just a Bo Bunny stamp. I don't remember what they're actually called, but Bo Bunny came out with some really fun stamps this past year, so I really liked using it, and I just stamped it on my my actual word. So here you'll see I'm just drying and splotting some more. I use that creme brulee right then and there just to add a little bit more white pop on some areas. You can really see that lace texture coming out. You can see just all the different shimmer, tons of layering. Basically, you just get a close-up of the layering process and how it kind of looks. And of course, you can see that those flowers aren't as black and don't pop like they did when I first put them on. So here I'm going to try it again. Yes, I'm going to layer it again. But this time I actually plan on using the matte gel medium to make sure they kind of stay put. And then I realized that matte gel just smeared that distress ink too. So I'm just going to go ahead and wipe them off, and whatever stayed and whatever didn't. I guess it just wasn't supposed to be on there. So sorry. Here you'll see my son. He's sitting in my lap there at the top of the screen. I told myself I had to hurry up and finish getting this project done because he woke up while I was doing it. So here you're just going to see me glue everything down. I'm going to use Fabri-Tac glue to put everything in place. And I'm going to add my embellishments off camera, so you'll actually be able to see the finished project in photos after the video of putting this together. And it got a little hard to do everything with my son right there in my lap. So here you'll see I'm going to pull out a Gina's doily. You can get these intricate doilies at ginasdesigns.net. I actually love these doilies, and I see so many on layouts now. I love it. They're fabulous for any style of project. Again, I'm just gluing everything down with Fabri-Tac glue. And here's the finished project. You can see all the different details, all the different layering, just tons of spray, tons of ink, tons of fun, lots of stamping. So thanks so much for joining me, and I hope that you were inspired to make your own canvas. Thanks again for stopping by.